Hello and welcome back to the driver's room. We're here for the Endurance Championship here at Dragon Trail. We're on the grid already. It's round 5 of Season 6. Let's see what happened in qualifying. As we make our way down for the grid walk, we have CS Smith, the informed man, on pole. He'll be starting on Super Softs in the Supra. Alongside him is his main title rival, Pluxtheduck. He'll also be on Super Soft tyres. And we have Kim with an excellent third position in the GTR. He'll be starting on soft tyres. Look for him to make a reasonably decent start in that GTR. Senna takes a great fourth position, also on the soft tyres. That car will also be pretty quick off the line. Look for him to make early moves. And we have Gadget in fifth in the Citroen. This car will be a rocket off the line. He's starting on the soft tyres. Look for him to be in the lead by turn 1. And we've got Ronan in the Mustang. He'll be starting on the super soft tyres. That car, interesting off the line, and Ronan's been away from a few races, so we'll see how he does. We've got Nee in a slightly disappointing for him qualifying position. He'll be on the supers, as will Rice in the Jaguar. Rice racing Jaguar there. Then we've got Muller quite far down the order for him. He would have probably expected better. This is the track he came second at last time we raced here in the Aston Martin. Then we have Daz in the next of the Porsches. He's starting on soft tyres. Then Jules, he's on softs in the big Merc. V8 in the third of the Porsches. He's also on the soft tyres. And Ben rounding off the field in the Mazda Atenza. This car doesn't really suit this track, and we'll see how Ben does. Let's see what happened in the race. The grid. Engine starting to build. Smith has been imperious almost all season. We're jumping back to watch Gadget start, and here it is. The Citroen getting its usual blast off the line. He's already taken the first position. Smith gets the usual bad start for the Toyota. Senna is up into second place, making a great start in the Mercedes, putting pressure there on Plux. He's on the outside though. Kim trying to make it round the outside of Smith, but he can't quite do it. So after turn 1, as we get a little bit of bumping, Smith out on the grass. Jules has come out of the kind of snake as well. He's going to have to slot back in. A great start for Gadget. Plux has managed to maintain P2 though. That's very important for his race. He's got a car between him and Smith. Smith is going to have to work a little bit harder to get back into the lead. Plux will be harrying early on, as we can see Nee pushing the GTR. The GTR will be weak through this section, but good over the top of the hill. Once we get here, the GTR becomes stronger again and will pull away. Actually pull probably closer to Smith as we go on board with Nee Jogger. Nee Jogger is the only man who can deny Plux the Group 3 annual championship today. If he can win, Plux scores badly. Go through the chicken for the first time. Pass through here requires precision and bravery. Smith throwing it all out on the line on the very first laps. Senna making a small error there. Smith's going to have the run. Smith looked exceptionally fast through this section, all through practice and qualifying, carrying over 130 miles an hour through there consistently. Gadget has held on again. Senna manages to hold on to P3. Muller pits on lap 1. He must have picked up damage, as has Jules. He's in early as well. It's V8. Ronan's had a terrible first lap. He's dropped all the way down the order. He's going to be wanting to push back through as we're back on board with Smith. Where is he going to find his way through? Oh my word, he's so much faster than anybody through there. He turned in earlier, got down the inside, as the camera goes a little bit crazy there. It couldn't make anything stick there, but that's going to be a good place for him to try and make up the move. As we go on board with our 2 leaders now, Gadget making a fantastic start, of course. The Citroen hasn't been the fastest across the race pace so far, but starting out front gives him a good chance to control the early pace. Plux will be itching to get past now. Itching to get past Smith, looking all over the back of Senna's Mercedes. If Senna can hold on for now, will probably start to have issues when it comes to tyre wear. That's usually Senna's problem. 120 miles an hour through there, 125 for Smith. Much better exits. We see Plux also gets a good exit. Is he going to have a look down the inside? He is. He's forcing the issue. We've seen these two work together in the first race of the season and kind of build the gap. Plux is through. Will Gadget go back at him? He did get probably a better exit. And the Porsche isn't the quickest in the straight line, and the Citroen's one of the best cars in the slipstream. It's a really potent slipstream attack. And yeah, here we go. Plux tries to defend. Now Smith's through. That's going to give Smith a run at Plux possibly. He does. And the two leaders have kind of bottled this actually. They had a chance to get away. Now Smith's right on their tail. Smith, really the informed driver. He actually saw there how much more speed Smith could take through there than Plux. In what most people consider one of the best handling cars in the Group 3 class, with its extreme downforce. The Porsche is usually fantastic through these sort of sections. That Supra seems to be outclassing the Porsche at the moment, and it's quicker in a straight line. Here comes the Toyota now over the top of the hill. What is Plux going to do? Here comes Smith. He goes to the outside. Plux cuts him off a bit. He swoops back around the other side. Plux is going to have to defend down the inside. And he just about runs him onto the out of room, but he manages to hold on there. Now Plux is in a world of trouble here. He can't attack without cause for defence, and actually it looks like Gadget got a bad exit, which meant Plux got a worse exit, and Smith got an extremely good exit. He's going to go right round the outside of Plux there, and takes a dive at Gadget, who cuts across the nose of the Porsche, and it looks like Smith has managed to do them both in the corner, in the the short chute. And this is a nightmare for Plux. Plux was probably hoping to get past early and build out a gap, and now the opposite has occurred. Smith, who leads the championship, of course, we must remember. 2 rounds to go. Sorry, 3 rounds to go after this one. There's Rice. We jump back through the field for the first time. So the 2 Porsches there having a little squabble down in 9th and 10th. Ronan and Muller, they're pushing back up through the field. It looks like Muller's got some extremely good pace actually. Maybe that early mistake is going to haunt him a bit. We didn't see what happened, and we didn't see what happened to Ronan on the start either. Mistakes very easy to have occur here as Jules rolls through turn 1. Looks like he's had a couple of issues already. A lap down on our race leader. Here comes Plux down the inside. That's a deep, deep brake move. He got the run, finally put the downforce to good use, but he's going to have to get a decent run through here, or he's going to be under pressure again. Absolutely flying through there with Smith. Oh, and Plux has hit the wall. No damage this time, but that's going to give Gadget a run. That's going to put Plux under massive pressure now. And his chance to break free, I think, is going to all be gone here. Gadget's down the inside. This is going to have to do it all again, and this is going to give Smith even more gap. Smith, who will definitely have fastest lap of the race by this point. I haven't seen if it has come up yet. Plux now running in the slipstream. He goes to the inside. With the outside for T1, or T2, sorry. Can Plux make this stick? Yes, he can. He goes deep into the first corner, and that's actually kept Senna and Kim and Nigel are all close together. Will Plux be able to pull away from these guys? Looks like everyone's starting to kind of screwing out a little bit, which actually will help the cars behind, because they can pull a lot of lap time out of Plux's slipstream. He probably won't be able to get away. They may not be able to close back in on him. He's going to drag the pack with him. Smith is a long way up the road now as we stay with Nee, who's stayed onto the back of this group very well. Senna goes round the outside trying to defend from Kim, but already his tyres are starting to fail him. Kim in the GTR, who had an excellent qualifying in P3, almost, very nearly had P2. For the second race at Seaside in a row, Plux bottled his qualifying. Completely decent lap all session, just about scraped onto the front row. Forward a little bit. Back markers. Well, I say back markers, the midfield, sorry. Second group. So we start to see some pitters. We've got Rice coming in. And Ronan. He's going to make up a few positions here. As will Muller. Only Rice has gone so far. Maybe a couple of other cars could have been expected to move up. This will drop Rice down to 11th position. On board with Smith. Indeed does have passes lap of the race by a long way. Only car in the 37s, I believe. Like I said, a small gap, but he's not disappearing up the road, unlike this man who is. Looks like he's got maybe a 4-second lead now. What's going to do? He's going to have to bridge the gap somehow if he's going to have a chance of winning this race. Gadget and Kim still there on his tail. Kim's going to kind of drag himself towards anyone in the mighty GTR. GTR is so fast in a straight line. Oh, Senna and me just staying on the back of the kind of the front group. Senna's tyres really starting to go. As Kim takes a look down the inside of Gadget, great move there. As Plux comes into the pit early, so he's getting rid of those tyres. As is Senna. Senna a compound lower though than Plux and having to bin his tyres already. There's the might of the GTR just powering his way past, and Kim is up to second position. We'll see what Smith does at the end of this next lap. And Gadget makes a mistake there, he goes wide. Gets caught out by the oversteer of the mid-engine Citroen. What a great passage of racing there for Kim. He's really cementing himself in second position now. Too early, or earlier than maybe some thought he might. We're only 12 minutes in. Multi-stop strategies have become the norm at the moment though. 4 stops and 3 stops more often than 2 stops now, but we'll see how that holds. As we do end lap 8 now with Smith coming in after 13 minutes. How much of the gap has Plux managed to close? We wouldn't expect him to close it all down. This will be a fast pit stop for Smith. There we go, he's already back out. Kim is through though. If Kim stays out for a couple of laps, this could be interesting. The pace of that GTR is so high down the straights, he may struggle to overtake Kim. As we see Gadget now backed up into the pack a little bit. That's not quite worked out for him. Here we go, into lap 9 now. And Smith had caught the back of him up. Not really gaining the full benefit of that. Plux sets his first 37.9, but it's still not good enough to take the fastest lap away. Oh. Big wide moment there for Plux. He's trying to wring everything he can out of that Porsche. Smith is on 1 lap fresher tyres, which would be a big advantage. There's Senna in third, he hasn't pitted yet. Kim comes out just behind Gadget. Gadget using the super soft tyre undercut to his advantage. Of course, Gadget starting on the soft tyre. There's Neat, still in 6th position. Forward a few laps now, on to lap 13. The gap is starting to come down a little bit, I think, between these two. very close. Plux will be pitting in the next maybe 2-3 laps. Smith will go for at least 3, maybe 4 more laps. He's on the soft tyres now though. And Plux has got that line all wrong. Oh, and he clips the wall, and is that going to be damage? Yes it is, he's got right rear damage. And that's completely upset his race strategy. Is he going to have to pit early? Is he going to go for another lap? He's on the super, so you would have expected him probably to come in on the end of lap 14, maybe 15. He thinks about it, and no, he stays out. Maybe he's worried about dropping back into traffic, but surely staying out an extra lap, he's going to be more likely to fall into that traffic on a slow lap. You can see how much time he lost just by clipping that wall hard. Smith knows this, he's now pushing extremely hard out of T1. Plux is not going to be able to do that anymore. The car's going to feel awful with damaged rear aero. Meanwhile, Kim has not been able to pass Senna. Senna, who's stayed out on those tyres for a long time now. Oh, a big slide for Senna there in the AMG Merc. He's going to be slow on exit, but he surprisingly gets a better exit than the GTR. The GTR, however, does have a big turbo in it and can sometimes be difficult to get the power down in. Run through the fast uphill S. There we go. Kim got the better line. This is going to breeze by in that GTR. Such a fast car. We've seen F1 use it very effectively in Tier 1 in earlier seasons, and now Kim using it very well. This could be on for his best result in the series. At the moment looks like he's got 4th pretty locked down. Gadget seems to have pulled away. Oh, and Senna makes a huge mistake in the chicken. He gets claimed. It's our first claimee of the chicken. Everything else has just been minor taps so far. Plux looks like he has now pitted. He's down in 4th behind Kim. Gadget's pitted this lap as well. End of 15, on to lap 16. Plux, he came out a couple of seconds behind Kim. Actually, very quickly. Kim on those soft tyres, starting to get warm, but he's got a low fuel tank. The Plux is hardly running much fuel. He's closing right down now on the back of Kim. He got a better exit. Following through the fast. Oh, he's hit that inside curb, and Plux goes round a huge spin there for the championship. Second place position driver. What an error there from Plux. That's going to have thrown the race away basically for him. He's not going to be able to catch Smith now between the damage and that spin. He's basically racing to hold on to second position. Uncharacteristic error. You can see the dirt on his tyres is going to cost him through the uphill section. It's going to pull Gadget back towards him. Not long ago, Plux and Smith were a long way ahead as we're on board with Smith. On the end of lap 18, so he's gone for a long stint. You can see Kim's pitted. He's dropped down to 5th. Smith pits after a long stint, burnt those tyres to a crisp. He knows he's got this gap now because Plux made that unforced error. We haven't seen many of those from Plux throughout the seasons. That's kind of been his characteristic throughout the year. He's not made too many unforced errors. There's a big one, and this whole season's been full of them. Went off at turn 1, lap 1, Kyoto. He went off at the end of the race last time after making a nuisance of himself all race for Smith. And now he's gone off again, and now he's got Gadget right on his tail on fresher tyres. He's not been able to drop the Citroen driver. And Gadget is doing a very good race. Remember last time we were in the Group 3 cars, Plux disappeared off the victory, and it was Smith who had the difficulties. This time Smith, the gap is closer than it really is because Smith's just pitted. Plux probably is kicking himself because he knows if he hadn't made those 2 errors he'd be ahead now. That's the way the cookie crumbles. Gadget is making the most of his strategy. A car which is actually proved to be very good on its tyres as we're on board with Knee. Lap 20 as we run through. Oh, he clips the inside wall. We've got another casualty of the chicken. He was running in a really good 4th position. Kim comes through to take that back after pitting already. Only good news for Nee, he was probably due a pit stop anyway, but just he's going to lose 20 odd seconds of getting the car back round. As we see another Ronan, who'd made a great job of getting himself back up the order after a terrible start. What a shame for him. There's Ben, 9th position up from 13th at the start. We've lost Jules, I believe. And there's Neil to pull it up the road again. 21 now. Gadget and Pluck still close together. And I think this is starting to rattle Pluck. It hasn't looked particularly smooth today. He's made errors. He's not been able to keep up with Smith at a track which he won last time out, and that might be getting into his psyche. Smith is just carrying on, setting the fastest laps. At least, the fastest car on track. Currently, Gadget has the fastest lap. Kim, who's driven a fantastic race so far, hasn't made a real error at all yet. And again, he's going to be ahead of Plux, and this is going to be the problem. Is now Plux has made mistakes, he's going to fall behind people like Kim, he's not quite in that lead battle race, but he's close enough that if they were all to make a mistake, he could gather up the pieces. And that's sometimes more important than anything in these sort of races, is just being in striking distance. You know, you have the real chance to pick up a podium or maybe a win where you really shouldn't, because other people make mistakes, you keep it on the track and you win. And that's fair enough, that's part of racing, is being the driver who doesn't make mistakes sometimes wins you the race. As we're just dropping back through the order now, we've got V8 in the pits. We just saw Rice and Daz. There's Smith, he's probably going to be pitting anytime soon. This was a shorter stint. There's Gadget. Plux now trying to close back on to the back of Kim. Hopefully this time he's not going to decide to do a little pirouette. So what happens? 127, he's just not really pushing through there. We've seen Smith go through there at 130 odd miles an hour. Plux seems to have backed off a bit, and it's not really working for him. He's been too cautious through there, and Smith hasn't. He's throwing caution to the wind. He's practiced throwing caution to the wind, and therefore he's just going to be quicker through there. His Gadget now pits. Back out. He's going to drop down those couple of places just because it takes really a while to get back up to speed here. Plux needs a clean stint here. Get himself away from Gadget. He's back on the super soft tyres. Clear Kim this lap, and it takes Gadget a little bit longer. He should be able to cement himself in second position. The win is pretty much out the window now, unless Smith absolutely buries it in the wall at the chicken. Let's be honest now, Smith is just driving away from everybody. And he's doing it on what looks to be one less pit stop. That's really closing in on this lap. He's going to have to tow over the top of the hill. He's going to go under pressure again. And he goes a little bit deep, I think, through that bottom hairpin. Plux gets the better exit as we go back on board with Kim. Running through the chickens. This is chicken 1 into the tighter chicken, the chicken of death. Oh, and he clips that wall, and Plux is driven straight to the back of him. Kim's got massive damage. Plux has got front splitter damage. That's going to give him awful handling now. And Gadget's going to pounce. I think Plux saw it coming. He couldn't really fight him off with no front splitter. Let's see if either of these guys pit. Kim has to pit. He's got 3 wheels damaged and both sets of aero. But Plux didn't. Plux allowed Gadget through and then didn't pit. So he's trying to kind of make it through, but that's going to have crucified his race because he's going to be a second off the pace now, and he's got to do his whole stint. And actually, Kim by pitting might give himself a really good chance to sneak a podium. Gadget probably will hold on to P2 now. But unless Plux absolutely tears up to the back of him once he pits finally. So we see Ronan there. He's now on auto drive, and we go to the timing screen. We can see Smith comfortably ahead of Gadget, Plux, Miller, Kim, Ben, Senna, Nee, Daz, Rice, V8 and Ronan, who's now on auto drive, we just said. There's Kim in 5th position, closing up to the back of Muller. That unforced pit stop is really costing Kim. It's such a shame. It's the one mistake he made, and it wasn't really a huge error. It was like Fox's first brush with the wall, just an unfortunate angle. If you hit it straight on, you kind of get away with it, but he came in with a bit of front angle in there. It wasn't really smooth against the wall. So he got damage, and Plux, we saw he came in with a bit of came out with rear damage because the back end stepped out. And I think that really shows that if you hit it smooth, you don't really pick up damage, as we're now on board with Nee. Senna, he's dropping back to him, and he's on fairly worn tyres, so I'm guessing Senna's either picked up some damage somewhere, or he's just on very old tyres now. Nice move into T1, or T2. Yep, rear damage there for Senna. In the pits, as was Daz. V8 with our race leader just behind him. Smith has really looked very imperious this whole season. We've still got 3 rounds left as he pits off the supers. We're going to the end now. There'll be around 8-9 laps left. He's already shown that he can take the tyres a fair bit longer than some of the other drivers who have less fuel now. And he can do his usual thing once he's out front of under-fueling and just putting the car down into mix 3 or 4 at the end. As Plux now pits. E2 probably will be going to the end with around 8 laps left. There's Kim, who jumps up a couple of positions and again gets back past Plux. That's very interesting. Kim, by pitting, has jumped ahead. We'll have to check his fuel number. Did he get passed by having fueled less, and now he's going to have to pit again? Because that would be a crushing way to lose his chance at the first podium. We'll see Muller there in 5th. Muller, who I think pitted with damage. I'm not sure though. It's a little bit odd that he'd fallen so far off the back of Kim. And there is Kim. Look at Kim's fuel. He's got back. Oh no, he's going to be short on fuel. That's such a shame. He'd driven really well. He'd not made too many errors. The one damage fueled incident he had, was compounded by other drivers' fault. I'm actually mistaken there. Muller didn't have damage. I think that was a natural pit. It just seemed weird that he'd come in, but I forgot that other drivers were coming in at the same time. Let's go back over with our race leader and championship leader. He's likely to be another clean sweep. Gadget hasn't put a foot wrong, driven his race, got a great start, executed the plan, never really had the pace. His knee now pits. Plux, every single thing has gone wrong for him in this race, it seems. He tried the undercut, and it didn't really work. He tried the undercut again, got stuck behind the right. He tried the undercut, made a mistake. Tried the undercut again, got stuck behind someone, made a mistake. Had to then pit, and then got caught up in an incident. Not a very good race for him. Senna there, back out in 8th position. It's a little lower down than we think. Just behind Nee, which I guess is where he was running before. Some cars further ahead, waiting to pit. Rice. Down the inside. Going for it there, but he could get a better exit. As we see Gadget now pits for the final time. Porsche. I expect the Jaguar to be better in a straight line. There's Kim. What's Kim going to do at the end of lap 29? He stays out for another lap. He's got a couple of laps of fuel left in him, and actually quite a big gap. And if he's better here, he might try and go for a splash and dash maybe. Just try and trim that fuel out a bit, so he doesn't have to spend as long in the pits. I don't think he's going to make it on fuel. I think maybe if he'd started fuel saving much earlier, yeah, he's only got about 3 laps of fuel, I think. That's a real shame. Kim really looks like he could have got his first podium if he'd put a bit more fuel in. Plux, who he just seems to not. He seems to just be circulating now. He's not attacking anymore. Ben in an excellent position actually. We haven't talked about this at all race, but Ben up in 6th. Remember, he started last. He hasn't put a foot wrong all race. And he's showing that the Mazda was not a great quali car. It seems to be fairly good on its tyres, very economical and very easy to drive. And there's Muller in 5th. Kim has come in. He came in at the end of that lap then. That is a shame because Kim really... he deserved a bit more than 4th really. He's driven a great race. Qualified 3rd. Possibly didn't quite get the best start he could have done in that big GTR, but it's a hard car to start with the big turbos in it. I think if you managed to get past Smith, you could have put some pressure on Senna maybe. We see Smith overtaking 11th place V8 again. Gadget was all the way. Wow, that shows you the advantage Smith's pulled out. P2 and P3 back down at the shore side, and Smith's coming back up the main straight. Miller who came out, well, Kim who came out just in front of him, and Miller hasn't exactly been dropped yet. Actually, Kim makes a small error there. Miller's got a run here. He's going to push him probably quite hard here. Miller, who finished 2nd the first time we came here in Season 1. But, those were different times then. Calibre of driver was slightly lower maybe. And we were missing a few drivers. Which just means that if we don't have a perfect race, it's nothing against Miller's level of driving. It's just... he was one of the top kind of 3 or 4 drivers at that point, and he could always fall back on that. Now there's so many drivers in a very close contention that if you have a bad race, you can finish 8th and you can be a top driver in Tier 1. Miller's done a good race, especially when you consider he was in the pits on lap 1 with damage. It's been an excellent comeback drive and shows actually how fast Muller is here. And probably he could have been further ahead. Kim using that GTR well, knowing its strengths. He is of course on the fresh tyres. And oh, we've jumped ahead. Muller here's got full damage. He must have wrecked it in the chicken. Just as I was singing his praises for an almost perfect recovery, he's dropped it into the pits. With only 6 minutes left. What is going to happen here? Muller comes out in 8th position. Moves Ben up to 6th. Me back into 5th. And, we'll see what happens here. Easily flows up, and it looks like he has. Ben's tyres are starting to go off. Senna's starting to catch him. That's pulled Muller along with him. And for a 2nd Seaside race in a row, Muller's going to have a really close fight at the end of the race. But this time, unlike last time where he was leading and hunted down by Plux, this time he gets to be the hunter, and it's a much easier job. Senna gets a great exit there. Here he comes up the short chute. I say it's a short chute, it's actually quite a long straight. Ben on the outside. Oh, there's that little puff of smoke, a lock-up. Definitely seems to struggle turning in there. Muller is going to have a great run. The Aston is good in a straight line. It's an excellent starting car, excellent accelerating car. It struggles a little bit with kind of early on pace. But once the fuel comes off of it, it becomes quite the car actually. Oh, Ben catches the inside curve, and that costs him a couple of positions. Well, one position, but what a shame for Ben, who's driven a great race. He's definitely one of the fan favourites. Miller now trying to get back up behind Senna. Dives it down the inside, just using those much fresher, much grippier super soft tyres on Senna. Plus the fact I think the Aston might actually be a better handling car than the Merc. The Merc understeers a lot. It's not particularly kind on its tyres either. It's not a car I would pick, put it that way, for an hour-long endurance race. I guess it's easy to drive, but I wouldn't call it one of the quickest cars to drive. Lap, but it looks like he's going to be the only one who makes it, Smith. His Gadget is going to fall short of the 37th lap. Oh, Plux just driving like a wally there. But Gadget, we'll talk about Smith when he comes back round, but Gadget's had a great race to P2, fantastic start, great strategy, didn't put a foot wrong all race, about one small oversteer moment. But great race by the Team Sigma driver. Takes a strong second. Plux threw this one away. He had a chance, he had a pretty quick car. But he does secure the Group 3 championship. There's Kim, probably the driver who deserved the third position today. Drove a great race, fantastic out there. Rice, who had an absolute mare, down in 11th. Remember the last time we drove these cars? Oh, sorry, not last time, but the time before. He finished second at Monza. A bit better than 11th, he's had a mare. Knee, strong 5th position. Had that mistake at the chicken. And hit Miller. Miller costs him a 5th. Senna and Ben round out our top 8. Daz has run out of fuel on the final lap. And V8 already finished. Ronin throwing the towel quite a lot earlier on, but here's the man. Taking another win. This will be his 3rd in a row. And it's just really pulled a huge amount of momentum. A great race by Smith. Thank you everybody for watching. Join us next time at Senqua A.